Good evening. Welcome to the City of Franklin Council meeting. Tonight we're going to start off our meeting with some reports from the various department heads. Just give us an update on how they're situated here. We'll start off with fire. Chief Leslie and Assistant Chief Young.
Thank you very much for allowing us to speak with you tonight. I'm just going to go over a brief overview of the department as a whole, kind of going back to where we're at. As far as station-wise goes, currently we're operating two stations. The station here, the main station, was built in 1969, and it has staffed full-time people since 1969. Status-wise, it is fitting our needs at this time. I think in the foreseeable future, it will continue to see our needs. We've done some changing up of apparatus in that. We've actually downsized the number of large apparatus we have by combining a few. So basically, we have a real good. We're good on space for right now. The second station, Station 2, which is referred to as our Melody Village station at 3200 Rap City. That was built, the garage portion of that was built in 1975. That was originally an all-volunteer station. In 2001, it had been kind of staffed on and off. They had tried staffing it during the days at times because that's when a lot of the volunteers worked. That was done for a short duration, and then that was scrapped. That one we added in 2021. We added the living quarters to that so that we could staff that full time. And that was at the time that the agreement, the joint operation of a joint station with the Village of Clinton ceased. We wanted to continue, obviously, providing services on the west side of the city. So we scrambled. We brought in a modular home to use as the quarters for the guys, and then did a few upgrades to the bays, and that's what we're currently operating under. Future-wise for that, it's not in our ideal location, in our opinion. It sits in Melody Village. It's almost to the Wayne County line. I think, and we agree, that the city would be better served with a station, if that station were relocated somewhere in the area of Center and Cleveland-Massillon. That would give us a more centralized, for the west side of the city, give us a more centralized area for that, a little closer to Fairland and Emmons, Sussex, Delhi, that allotment area up there, plus continue to cover Melody Village. And in addition, by being close to Center Road, it would allow easy access for the stations to back each other up, which they do all the time. So in the past couple of years, we've been looking for property in that area. We have looked at a couple pieces of property over there. Unfortunately, we haven't found anything that fits our needs right now. But we have been looking for probably the last 3-4 years for a piece of property, either vacant or a property that we could turn into a station moving down the road. That station, when we established it in 2001, we were thinking if we got 5 years out of it, we'd be good. 21 when we established it with the living quarters and that, we were hoping to get at that point 5 years out of it. So we're coming up on that 5-year mark. Not to say that it isn't working out right now, but again, I think the city would be better served if it was in a better location. Personnel-wise, there's been a lot of changes with personnel. Currently, we run a California swing, which is 3 shifts of individuals. Each shift right now is a lieutenant and 5 firefighters. So there's 6 guys to a shift. That includes the 3 we just hired. So so when one guy takes off on his accrued leave or anything like that, we still have those 5 guys to maintain, 3 guys at Station 1, 2 guys at Station 2. So that has worked out for us. That's taken the worry of trying to fill those shifts with part-time people, the part-time people that we no longer have. We're down right now, currently we have 4 part-time people on that are working. We were very fortunate for a long time to be able to utilize, we had a good complement of part-time people. We actually were able to utilize part-time people a little longer than some other departments. There were departments that were solely part-time. Lakemore was all part-time. About 5 years ago, they went to full-time just because they had the same issues we had. So we're sitting well right now. The ultimate goal would be for us would be to increase the full-time ranks by 3 additional, as we've talked. That would put us at 7 a shift, and that would definitely then work out for us for the foreseeable future. Well past our careers, probably. At the current situation with the city, with as far as population and that, I see it. Unless that changes, we have a drastic change in that, we'll be good for 20, 25 years if we were to add those 3 additional men or firefighters. Apparatus-wise, thanks to the AFG grants, we are sitting pretty good right now with apparatus. We run 3 squads, an engine, 2 squads are at Station 1, and then a squad at Station 2. And then Station 2 also then has an engine. They're comboed up the way they respond. If it's a fire call, they take the engine, squad call, they take. And then I'll give you an example. We just had a traffic accident over on the west side at Cleveland, Massillon, Vanderhook. So that med unit from Station 2 responds, and then the engine out of Station 1 responds. They both engines carry extrication equipment, extrication tools, so that we have that, and they back each other up that way. Likewise, if there's an accident over here, that squad or the squad from here would respond, as well as the engine from Station 2 with the rescue tools, should we need them. So the 3 ambulances, the oldest one is 2018. Currently, it's on our 5-year plan and on the vehicle rotation list to be replaced in 2028 at the 10-year mark. They're talking now. We have an estimated cost on that is, and this is very conservative, about $230,000 for a new ambulance. The big thing with ambulances now is you're talking from the time you order till the time you take delivery is 2 years, 1.5 to 2 years before you get it. So that's something we have to take into consideration when we're looking at the new ambulance. Like I said, the estimated cost of that will be $230,000. The engines. Both of our current engines were purchased with funds from the AFG grant. The oldest engine is a 1998. That will be slated to be replaced in 2030 when it's 32 years old. So the norm for fire engines is if you can get 30 years out of them, you're doing good. We can get 30 years only because ours don't run nearly as much as the city of Akron doesn't get anywhere near that. They will get half that out of their engines just because of the runs. The other engine, that engine's at Station 2. Then our engine at Station 1 is a 2023. Again, that was purchased with grant money through AFG. As far as that goes, that's pretty much where we sit with everything. If you have any questions, we'll be welcome. We'll be happy to answer your questions.
On the squads, say we got 3 of them. I remember a few years ago we did a chassis swap one where you just put the box on the new.
Yes.
Is that a consideration, or are we going to do a complete new unit?
All of our ambulances now currently have boxes, have been re-chassised twice.
Okay.
The problem we're seeing now is the technology-wise in that with the old box, they don't change the technology in the box. They basically reassign it to the just place it on the new chassis. They're saying that we're not probably going to get another re-chassis out of this. We're probably going to have to look at purchasing a whole new ambulance.
All right, so if that 230 is the box and chassis.
Yes.
So I guess the benefit of that is, whereas if we get a re-chassis type operation, we're going to be down that unit for a long period of time. Is that correct? Because they'd have that unit to pull the box off of it, so we're going to be out.
Yes. Yes, we said that it actually goes back to our ambulances are Lifeline.
Mhm.
We had purchased those specifically because they offered the option of the re-chassis. That vehicle that ambulance goes back out to Iowa, to their main factory. The box gets taken off, they get stripped, they get sandblasted, they look them over for structural problems, and then they set them on the new chassis.
Is that fully equipped, or is that just the truck, and we still have to equip it with gurney and equipment, the monitors and everything else?
That's a good question. Some of those we purchased we were able to take our loading system out and put into the ambulances as they come. So we pull it out of the old one and put it in the new
Is
one.
that like the power cot system?
That's the power cot loading system, yes. Our tower cots our oldest has 10 years, right at the 10-year mark.
It's at the end of the service life.
So this $230,000 does not include replacing that power cot, but we will have to look at down the road replacing as those get wear and tear on them, replacing those power cots. So you're probably looking at, with the replacement of the power cot, you're looking at
15, 20.
That's just the whole loading system, all about $40,000.
40,
So you're looking at conservatively, again, 250 to 270 with the unit and the low cotton loading system.
Now, what's nice is we can buy, at least at this point, they're compatible. So we don't necessarily need to buy we need to buy the loading system, we don't need to buy the cot. The cot is compatible with a new loading system, and that's the part that actually takes the wear and tear, is the loading system.
And then on our new truck, we have the 23. Was that, if I remember, that was a fleet version truck versus the custom?
No, it was actually,
It's a custom.
Was it?
It was a custom,
I was
yeah.
just wondering if there's a comparison to how,
Yeah.
if you're seeing any problem, anything like that.
No, so far it's been nice. We've had good luck.
Super.
You guys have anything else?
Yep.
One thing I'd just like to ask is, and not to do this tonight or anything, but maybe something to think about and give to us, and just helps us think forward as far as what you guys need, like a SWOT type analysis where we look at our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats. In your guys' case, threats would be staffing, rising costs, stuff like that. Opportunities maybe collaboration with other departments. Weaknesses, whatever your weakness may be, and strengths, things that you do really well. And I think that would be something help if we're planning for budgeting and stuff down the road.
Yeah, we can definitely look into that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good idea. All right,
Thank you.
thank you.
Will you be sticking around for the rest of this?
Sure.
Okay.
If you'd like us to, I'll be
It's,
happy to.
it's up to you.
Do you want service or please?
You want these guys to move on?
Please.
All right. Please.
Okay.
That is your vote, yeah.
Well, we have them here. Resolution 25R14 is a then and now for the striker invoice, and you got a memo on that. but
Voices.
Basically,
Yes, yes, yes.
what happened?
So basically, We received an email with invoices from Stryker. We buy a lot of our medical supplies through them. We buy a lot of our blood pressure cuffs and our pulse ox, oximeters and all that hook up to our monitor. Those wires over time, they get brittle and they break, and then our pulse ox doesn't pick up correctly. So what happened was we received an email with past bills. And these bills go back 2020 and 2021. And when we looked into it, we had no record of any of those bills. In looking at it, we dug into it, we checked with Sue, she had no record of it. And then, they come to find out, kind of in that COVID period of time in that, they were mailing them out to us. We never received the bills. So that's where this comes in, this is the amount of the bills that we had never received to pay. So since that's occurred, we have taken steps, we're working with Stryker, and we've taken steps to alleviate that so that we don't get surprised by this again.
Since it was on the agenda, I just wondered.
No, that's fine.
If anybody had questions, why better?
Were we able to verify that we received that from back?
Yes, yeah, we did go back through and verify, and that's another thing we're doing too now, is the packing slips and that we're going to start collecting the packing slips, and so that we actually have record that we purchased. Or hard copy of that we purchased it. But yes, Nate Kennedy is my EMS coordinator. He's the one that handles all that ordering. He did go back through and look at the bills and did verify that we had received that stuff.
I'm assuming we're on a net 30 or a net 60 with them. How did they go net 9,000?
Well, that was my question to them too, and they had no answer for it.
COVID.
I was gonna say, there has to be shifts in personnel and everything else.
Yeah. So yes, so that's why it's on the agenda for this evening.
And while we have both of you guys still here tonight, I just want to say thank you for your guys' efforts last week with the situation that happened. Both the police and fire guys, as always, do an outstanding job, and we really appreciate that. So thank you.
No, thank you.
You guys can stay or go, what are the issues?
Well, it's fine. I just wanted to share real quick. I don't know that I expressed myself completely as far as what I was looking for. I think your report is fantastic. It gave us great information that we probably wouldn't even think about, or that the public wouldn't even think about. So I'm very happy that you guys came today and the report that we've received so far. What I'd like to see for next year, I'd like to do this again next year, but I'd like it to be more of a like state of the department. I like for it to be an opportunity for you to show the great things that your departments are doing, the accomplishments that you've made throughout the year. Looking at, recently we had recertification in the police department. That'd be something that would be something to promote, be proud of. Anything that you're doing within the community as far as any community programs or special training or whatever your department has accomplished, and then kind of what are you looking to do for the next year or for the upcoming year. So that's kind of what I'm hoping to see, in making it a yearly thing where you guys can come in and you can let the public know the things that we don't know, and all the accomplishments and things that you're doing well, and what you're working on, the goals for the future. So, but I appreciate the information that came in today. It was very helpful. A lot of really good information. So you're dismissed.
Next year will be even better than that.
Thank you for coming in tonight. All of you, thank you for coming in tonight.
I'll start with our staffing. Within the biggest issue for us. Much like the fire department, we ran mostly, or not mostly, but a lot of part-timers until 4 or 5 years ago. They started moving away, taking full-time jobs. Currently, we have 19 full-time police officers. Our authorized staffing level is 20. We had 0 part-timers at this time. We had an officer resign in October, and we have yet to fill that position. My plan is to post that job next month. With the summer coming up, we have vacation and time off, and a lot of mandatory training from the state that we have to send our officers out to. So we're going to need that full-time spot. So we'll get it on next month. We're going to train up. We're ready for summertime. We run 3 shifts, 3 8-hour shifts, 3 officers per shift. We have a 3 officer minimum staffing level. And the reason we do that is it's mostly for the safety of the citizens and the officers. If we go down to 2, which we've talked about in the past, and I think in years past they've gotten away with it. The danger with that is if an officer is had one accident, they're has to go to the hospital. That leaves one officer to go and be interacting by himself. And you don't know what's coming. You don't know if he's going to go with a message by himself or somebody with weapons. So it's just not safe to go down to 2. So that additional officer that we're going to put on for next month is will give us plenty of staffing to cover the summer shifts and going forward with 3 officers per shift. We have 2 SROs, 70% of their cost is covered by the city, and they help us out in summertime as well. And we have 2 detectives, 1 full-time detective and 1 part-time detective. The part-time detective, we pull him often to work with when we're short. Cut overtime costs until we just need full-time. Staffing, we're okay. The retention has been great. Around the area, that's where a lot of cities are struggling. It's kind of like merry-go-round. These officers are just going where the money is, and they're going where the signing bonuses are. But we've been lucky that we haven't lost any full-time officers to the department. So the officers that are coming here and staying here, that's working for the city. It's been a good place to work for them, and they're not leaving. So we haven't had that problem. So that's really for staffing. We just need that one full-time person, and I think we're okay. I don't see anything in the foreseeable future that we need more than that. I think 3 works. Even with this full-time position, sometimes we'll have an overlap with 4 if everyone takes off and everyone's out on leave or training. So I think we're comfortable with that number of 20. Moving forward, I can see how we're going to need more. As far as expenses go, our equipment, the big ticket items are the cruisers. We're on rotation where we do 2 cruisers 1 year, 1 cruiser the next. And that's been working as far as the miles on the cars, and when we do take around service, this 2-1-2-1, it just works. So we're going to stick with that. This year is our 1 year cruiser year. So we have that car on order for the year, probably next month. The nice thing about that purchase is we got a grant for a large portion of that. We got $42,600 covered that car. So without fitting in, putting the markings on it, it's going to cost about $20,000 for that cruiser to really go. Other big ticket items are our body cams, our tasers, our radios. Last year we bought all new body cams for the department on a 5-year lease. That's $71,000, and that was through the fund of the grant as well. So that we don't have any new body cams for the next 5 years. It's really grateful through the grant. We did buy tasers last year also. Our tasers were about 8 to 10 years old. They were older model, the batteries were dying, hard to get cartridges, so we needed to upgrade the tasers. That wasn't cheap, that was $56,000, and we bought that on a 5-year lease as well. So that's $11,000 a year for the next 5 years. The radios, we got new radios about 3 years ago. They last anywhere from 15 to 20 years, depending on the technology. But right now, we'll get you on radios. So as far as big equipment purchases, we don't really need too much right now. It's just going to be a moving forward. We've talked about smoke bridge on the station as far as the cameras. Some of the access codes or the swap to get in. So just stuff around the station that works citywide, I guess, is cameras. That might be something we can look at sooner or later. Maybe we should.
They want to say it's today.
That's the words on that. So, and that's important. Those cameras, they're the original cameras that came with the building, and they're dying one at a time. So we have to resort to officers, setting the light cameras in the camera room, and just because we couldn't rely on those cameras to put in for work. So it's time for those. Let's see what we got. Some of the cost saving measures I want to go over is too, is some of the bells and whistles that we don't go after, we don't really need, because we have partnerships with other departments. We don't have a drone program, we don't have a K-9 program. Those cost money, you know, a lot of the money is just putting an officer in the training for K-9 program. They have to go to monthly training, and the upkeep. So we don't have those programs, but we do partner with our Metro SWAT team or some kind of service, and we can get either one of those resources out of very quickly. We partner with some kind of sheriff's office this summer to join them in their in-service training, because they're not charging us. So we need some guys in there that are coming back with them instead of finding a private business to train our guys that we have to pay for. So we're constantly looking for grants and partnerships to reduce our costs. It's just some of it. I don't have any highlights.
No, I understand.
We've had a great year. The officers love working here and they're doing great things. If you have any questions from me or mine, I'm happy to answer.
No, I think that's fantastic. I think it's fantastic. Your retention rate, obviously, that's a sign of the leadership that allows the officers to be comfortable staying here, which is fantastic. And I think another very interesting point that you brought up that we probably don't think about is being part of the Metro SWAT, where we've had discussions in the past where we're joining what are benefits. But that drone, just that drone is a huge benefit that'd be available for us as we need it, as opposed to the expense of going ourselves to use it 2 or 3 times a year.
It's more than just a SWAT team for us. You know, it's nice to have them at the drop of a hat for those kind of calls, but we use it as a multiplier. 2 years ago when we had the state park, they showed up and just walked through the woods. So if we ever have a big event, we can call them and use them to be able to or the fireworks or if we ever need extra staffing. And we'll be able to use that way too. So it's nice to have.
How does that work? To this? Do we pay into?
Yeah, we pay a yearly fee based on our population.
And who's part of that?
It keeps getting bigger.
Is it? Okay.
I would say there's 17 city
yeah.
townships now.
Yeah, okay.
We have 2 officers assigned to it. So we do once a month have to put them a monthly training. It's 2 days a month they have to go train for SWAT.
Got it.
We pay on a monthly fee.
I've seen the equipment to, otherwise would be prohibitive for us.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, our size, there's no way we can have a SWAT team, but it's, going to be proven. 3 times a year, they put on really great training that our officers can go to for free as far as active shooter training or any kind of vehicle stops. It's just to give the officers that are doing training, they've done something out of it.
I know, remember during the budget talks, we had talked about some additional space for, for evidence storage.
Yeah,
And I think that went through, if I remember right, in the budget as approved. And where are we with that? I know it's still early.
it is early, and I did find one budget here on the back page. But right now, Captain Crime, more than me, is going through our property room. And we're kind of doing a full reset in there. There's probably a lot of things over the last 20 or 30 years that we got rid of. So we're doing a full inventory of the property room this year. And that's going to take some time. There's a lot of stuff in there from the 80s and 90s that we have to track down, we have to know what's that, we have to get put over to dispose of it. So that's going to take a lot of time. But we want to get through that process first to see, okay, how much do we actually need? Do we need to go full scale and get something big, or okay, if we get all the stuff out of here that we can, size-wise, what are we looking at? So we want to get through that first before we can get any kind of storage facility. So that's probably going to take us 4 to 6 months, and we get a full inventory of what we have, get all the full orders to get everything disposed of. So that might be pushed back into later in the year or even next year.
Super.
Yeah, great job, guys.
Thank you very much for coming in tonight.
Next, we got service, Dale and Portland.
They'll really going forward with
Okay.
We love you guys.
Probably be watched to here. Hi, everyone.
those of you that don't know me, I think there's probably a couple up there who never talked to that. My name's Dale Corley. I guess I've been asked to talk about some of our responsibilities, staffing, facilities, equipment, things like that. I guess I'll just start out with the first thing, which is responsibilities that we have. These are just some of the responsibilities. We have 252 lane miles of road, 19 bridges, 7 parks, 3 cemeteries, roadside ditches, culverts to maintain. And we also oversee and permit any work done in the road right away. We also provide roadside mowing, which gets out of hand in July. I'm not sure everybody knows. As far as our staffing goes, we have 12 total employees, 9 bargaining unit members, deputy service director, myself, and administrative assistant, which would be Courtney, which is probably the best thing we've ever done. She's brainiac and babysitter all one. We operate on 2 shifts in the wintertime, which hours would be 7 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon, and then 7 in the evening to 3 in the morning. And it's a judgment call on whether we stay over at 3 in the morning or we come in early before 7 o'clock. It's just a judgment call. Nothing's really ever in stone there. As far as our facilities go, I think most of you have probably been down there at one time or the other, at least. But our main garage with offices, locker room, break room. It's a newer addition, of course. Restrooms, and attached to that would be our other garage where we house our new trucks. It's heated, and it will house 6 trucks, I believe. Extending on to that would be our old garage, which is also heated, and it houses 5 trucks, 5 salt trucks in it, and plus our front end loader. That's also a heated garage. We have 2 other garages for storage, which is one is a non-heated garage, where we keep our pickups in, chippers, salt spreaders when they're off season, just various things that don't really require heat. Our diesel trucks, we obviously want to keep them warm in the winter to make sure they start. Beside that building, we have our what we refer to it as a grease pit, where we do all our lubrication, service. We have an overhead hoist in there, welder, tools, various things to work on our vehicles when they break. The small building we have in the middle of the parking lot, we call that our fuel shed. It's heated also. It has all the wiring inside for our fuel tanks. Has our brine making machine in there, our running water, pressure tank, stuff like that. Stuff that has to you have to keep it freezing.
We also have the fuel pumps, diesel, non-ethanol, and regular, so that they don't have to go to the station to
Right.
fill. It's all right on site.
Right. And last but not least, down below we have our 3 salt storage bins. 2 of them we build ourselves, and one of them I think we required that from the county. I know you probably were going to ask me how much salt do they hold, and I know one of them holds 1,600 tons. And one of them is
a little bigger than that, and one of them's a little smaller than that. So I'd be shooting from the hip if I just shot you out a number there, but I'm sure we can get it. I'm sure Brian knows it to a T, but I just never got that far ahead. As far as our equipment goes, we have 12 dump trucks, 9 pickups. Both of the pickups and dump trucks have all been used for solving snow and ice control. They've all been used at one time, or the other. We have our water truck, which is our called a water truck. It's a sewer jet, the big green one you guys see driving around here. Yeah. 2 overhead bucket trucks, which we use for maintaining traffic lights, and we do a lot of limb cutting with the older one. We kind of hung on to that one just for that reason, because you're cutting overhead a lot, you lose a limb or whatever, bounces, hits the road, comes back, and hits the door. Well, at least it's not a brand new one. So we keep that one there, the older one around just for that, and it comes in handy. Our large equipment consists of 2 great alls, roadside mower, mini excavator, backhoe, and a front end loader. I think those are pretty much self-explanatory on them. Our future needs are, from our 5-year plan, is 2026 assault truck and skid steer. 2027 truck and a pipe inspection camera system, which would be a camera system. Obviously, you go up inside pipes to find breaks, clogs, maybe tie-ins that we didn't know was there, various things. I mean, we could use that for a lot. 2028 pickup truck and a roadside mower. And I'll come back to that roadside mower. It's might be a little bit different from what you think. 2029 pickup truck and a mini excavator. And 2030 assault truck. What I was talking about whenever I said I would come back to the roadside mower, Brian and I have been talking about it. And when I say roadside mower, you're probably pretty much thinking about the tractor with the mower off to the side and mowing ditches and going around like that. Well, we've also got a roadside mower that has a boom on it, and it's pretty much destroyed. And I know we've been talking about having to have one of those. We have the attachment we have on the Grail for doing a lot of overhead cutting, the heavy cutting. The problem with that is it does a great job, and we're glad to have it. But the Grail's pretty big. Some of our roads are not as big. It's easier to maintain some of them roads with a boom mower because you can set closer to the ditch and cut both sides of the ditch plus overhead. And right, and flaggers, yes. When you go up with the Grail, you have to have the Grail can't see what's around him at all times. With the boom mower and the tractor, you're pretty much surrounded in glass, and you can see, the direction. You can work off by yourself on a lot of roads. Obviously, hills and curves, you're going to have someone there, but that's the reason, like I say, for the roadside mower. That could be something different than what it sounds. As far as the cemetery goes, I'll let you expand on that.
We have a little bit of space left at Manchester Cemetery. Grill and Kaiser are full. I think we can do a couple of burials at Grill still. Kaiser's completely done, but we do have land in Manchester that's not been designated. I started research on companies that specialize in columbariums, and we can sit down and schedule a meeting, and then they can actually help us maximize the space that's left. We'll hold a lot of cremations. We can do some that are full casket as well as cremations, So we're gonna try to come up with whatever the, most cost-effective way to maximize the space that we have left. And then we also are looking at building a pavilion where we can host the services. Right now, families pay to have a temporary one brought in. So it would be something that's more formal, a nicer setup, and it would also have a fee associated with this.
And the last thing I have here was future employees, and we're looking at 1 to 3 more in a 5-year plan. Road maintenance workers to accommodate the growth of the roads, parks, and cemeteries.
Right now, we're maintaining, but as we expand on parks, it's a huge one, and then cemetery as well. All of it requires the labor, but as we sit, we're pretty happy.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Nice job.
Yeah, nice shot.
Seriously.
You see the sweat beads?
Oh, you did fine.
Oh, I did forget the 60 year. That was a swimming pool.
Any comments on column bearings? If you'd like to see some, I got some resources, we put some in.
Okay.
You're more welcome to take a look at them.
Okay.
On the salt room, I know last year we approved a salt room. How did that help with this year with it being such a tough year? That, I know there's some struggles getting salt delivered on time.
Very lucky because the last few years have been so light, and then all of a sudden we got hit. So ordering was its own challenge, and having that assembled right in time for all the deliveries to start, nothing really due to that weather. It was absolutely beneficial.
You guys dump into the dome or do you pile it?
Pilot,
Okay.
for sure.
Yeah, I think it's where you get the most out of it.
Yeah.
The mower, you guys got a new one this past year, wasn't it?
Yeah,
That's a flat mower or something.
That's why I wanted to bring that up, because we had just gotten a roadside mower like the one I described at first. And I said another roadside mower right off the bat. I didn't want you to think, well, hey, we just want to load up on
Yeah. So the current, I'll call it the boom mower, is that one, is the actual tractor exhausted? I know that the arms got breaking.
Yeah, the arm is completely destroyed, and it shook. See what happened there? A long time ago, when we got it, it was new and it worked well. But the roads were so far let go, we had to start from scratch. So a lot of the state and county roads, they haven't been maintained as much as what we work on them a lot. When we were township, so we started off cutting bigger stuff than what the machine could probably handle. And but we made it all the way around. We got everything cut back pretty good, but it took a toll on it, and you would start getting vibrations in the from the hatchets in there wearing down, not wearing evenly, and whatever. You start getting vibrations, and it just worked itself all the way through the boom. And I welded and repaired and rebuilt until that head you can't hardly do anything left with it. But what is completely gone right now is where it hooks to the tractor. And I do know that tractor, when we got it, was the smallest tractor that they would put that fixture on. Whether or not we have to have that exact type of piece of equipment, we would want to look at options for sure before we jumped again. But being the fact that we got the attachment for the Gradle to do the heavy work, I don't anticipate another machine like that. I think we'll get a lot of work out of it.
So if you did replace that one, is the chassis on the current tractor still usable?
Yes, the chassis on the current tractor is still usable. It's still a really good tractor. I just don't know that it will ever be big enough for a new attachment.
So I was going to go with that. What do we do for guardrail trimming?
That's what we use.
So that may be an option if you get the newer boom mower, retain the existing chassis and throw a guardrail mower on that.
It is a possibility if someone would make a boom mower for that.
Well, they make a drag behind.
For the mowing the road, yeah, but for guardrails and stuff like that is what I mean, and other side of ditches. You're talking about.
I'm talking like the posts around the guardrail and stuff.
Right. I don't understand what you mean.
So they got a drag behind, it basically hooks to the 3-point on the back,
Mhm.
and then it's got a spring loaded on that basically hits all around the posts on the guardrail, so you just drag on the guardrail and it cleans them up.
Oh, I'm not familiar, I'd like to see what's.
And then the camera, you guys talked about camera truck, so do you need a full truck or just more like a push camera?
You know what, I'm gonna let Brian explain that one to you, because he has looked at several different ones. I know Green has them, he's seen theirs, I know he's looked at some different options, and so that one there, I'd have to get back to you, or we could ask him.
I mean, you can buy a nice push camera for
Right.
$15,000,
They go on your sewer jet and then run it up through there, and what you mean, something.
Yeah.
Something like that.
but an actual truck mounted, just the camera alone is about $120 for the package.
Right.
Then you're looking at the truck chassis.
Right. Right. Yeah, I had seen that one myself. I honestly don't know for sure exactly what he was thinking about on that one.
He looked at a couple different options,
Right.
and that's a later down the road. I think he's still mid-research on finding out, of course.
Yeah.
Good.
Anybody else?
No, thank you. A lot of really good information. Thank you.
Great job, guys, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thanks.
All right. We're going to start off tonight with our committee meetings. We're going to start with the finance committee, Mr. Betts.
Thank you. We will open the Finance Committee at 6:46. First resolution tonight is 25R14, a resolution approving a then and now purchase order for outstanding invoices from Stryker Sales Incorporated in a total amount of $4,482.61 and declaring an emergency. Do we have any questions on this after that? Comfortable with me three on this? Terrific. Our next resolution is Resolution 25R15, a resolution approving a then and now purchase order for outstanding invoices from Rosette and Andress LPA in the total amount of $14,969.50 and declaring an emergency. And Ms. Cook, you sent us information on this. Basically, it's just the invoices from November, December.
Yes, that is correct.
So we're paying them in 2025 instead of.
Well, we only received them, even though they're
Sure.
dated that, we only received them in 2025.
Right. Okay. Questions, comments? Wave three. Sweet. Our next resolution, 25R16, Mr. Stiles.
Yeah, 25R16 is a resolution authorizing modifications to the 2025 annual operating appropriation budget and declaring an emergency. Sue, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but basically we developed our budget for our departments back in July. We did approve a major part of this, increases to staffing in the fire department as well as the new union negotiated raises, which in November, which is pushing us to
September, they took effect in September.
So since that was after what we had done our budgeting period, we need to add that into our new budgets and rectify it.
Yeah.
Comfortable waiving the three? Yes. 25R17 is a resolution authorizing New Franklin to enter into an agreement with Southeast Security for purchase and installation of security cameras for New Franklin City Hall, police and fire departments, and declaring an emergency. We already talked about this with Mr. Bickett, but basically we've got a lot of millions of dollars worth of buildings and evidence and equipment, and our camera systems are aging, and we need new cameras inside and out of those buildings in order to keep us secure. And assuming that could apply into our compliance with evidence storage and other things. So. Excellent. All right, comfortable waiving the three? Yes. That'll close the finance committee at 6:47.
Thank you. Our next committee is going to be community development, Mr. Shaker.
We'll open Community Development Committee at 6:49. Resolution number 25-R-18. A resolution extending a moratorium on issuance and granting of applications or permits for public storage, mini storage, or self-storage facilities in the city of New Franklin, Ohio, for a period of 1 year, 365 days, and declaring an emergency. We put this on a year ago, basically we got plenty of storage units in now, and we wanted some of that land to be developed in other ways. Mr. Adams, do you have anything to say about it?
No, I just, I had kind of docketed when it was going to expire. We really are in the same situation. I think we have the same general need, and the next resolution is pretty much the same. Everything's sort of tracking along with the sewer. The sewer's been creeping along, but it's going to happen. So I think this is to try to just be a little forward thinking and leave options open for the type of development that the city finds to be most advantageous, particularly in our commercial corridors. So I think there's a need, and I think it's justified. I think it would be a prudent thing to do for this one and for the next one, to extend it. If for some reason circumstances change, it can always be repealed. But at least this would extend it for the 1 year, additional 1 year period.
Any other questions? Okay, we're going to 3. Mr. Wolf?
Okay, I'm going to take the next one, Resolution 25-R-19, a resolution extending the moratorium on the establishment of small box discount stores and the issuance of zoning permits or any other permits for the building, structure, use, or change of use relating to the establishment or expansion of small box discount stores and declaring an emergency. Same sort of thing.
Yes,
the same sort. Right, we've got enough dollar stores in town.
Right.
And want to have other businesses and give them the opportunity.
We don't know what might come. There's often we hear people wish we had a grocery store a little closer by. That wouldn't be the only reason for this, but there is research that indicates that if you get too many of the minis, the grocery stores aren't going to come. So I think it's a good forward thinking, prudent measure to take.
Any questions?
No, but I think it's important to note that I did talk to Barry Miller from zoning today. He said nobody reached out to him for permits on either of these two issues.
Comfortable waiving 3? Okay. All right, and I'll close out the Community Development Committee at 6:52 p.m.
Thank you. With that, I'd like to call to order the regularly scheduled meeting for City Council. Would you join in the pledge?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Cox?
Present.
Mr. Schaefer?
Present.
Mr. Powell?
Present.
Mr. Stiles?
Present.
Mr. Wolf?
Present.
Mr. Almond?
Present. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes for the regularly scheduled meeting of February 19th, 2025?
So moved.
I'll second.
I have a first and a second, Kelly?
Mr. Schaefer?
Yes.
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Stiles?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
Mr. Almond?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
That's approved 6-0. And now we enter into our public comments. If you have anything you'd like to address council, please state your name and address. Seeing none, close public comments. And we'll enter into our first reading here of Resolution 25R-14, Kelly.
A resolution approving a then and now purchase order for outstanding invoices from Stryker Sales Incorporated in the total amount of $4,482.61 and declaring an emergency.
This resolution is assigned to the Finance Committee. We move to waive the 3 readings on Resolution 25R-14.
Second. Do you have a first and a second?
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Stiles?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
Mr. Almond?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Schaefer?
Yes.
We move to adopt resolution 25R14.
Second.
We have a first and a second?
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Stiles?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
Mr. Almond?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Schaefer?
Yes.
Resolution passes 6-0. Resolution 25R15, Kelly?
A resolution approving a then and now purchase order for outstanding invoices from Retzel and Andrus LPA in the total amount of $14,969.50 and declaring an emergency.
This resolution is assigned to the Finance Committee. We move to waive the 3 readings on resolution 25R15.
Second.
We have a first and a second?
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Stiles?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
Mr. Almond?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Schaefer?
Yes.
We move to adopt resolution 25R15.
Second.
We have a first and a second, Kelly?
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Stiles?
Abstain.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
Mr. Almond?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Schaefer?
Yes.
Resolution passes 5-0. Resolution 25R16, Kelly?
A resolution authorizing modifications to the 2025 annual operating appropriation budget and declaring an emergency.
This resolution is assigned to the Finance Committee. I'd like to make a motion to waive the 3.
Second.
We have a first and a second?
Mr. Stiles?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
Mr. Almond?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Schaefer?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
I'd like to make a resolution, a motion to adopt resolution 25R16.
Second.
We have a first and a second, Kelly?
Mr. Stiles?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
Mr. Almond?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Schaefer?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes. Resolution passes 6-0. Resolution 25R17, Kelly?
A resolution authorizing New Franklin to enter into an agreement with Southeast Security for purchase and installation of security cameras for New Franklin City Hall, Police, and Fire Departments, and declaring an emergency.
This resolution was also assigned to the Finance Committee, and I'd like to make a motion to waive the 3 for resolution 25R17. Second.
We have a first and a second?
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
Mr. Almond?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Schaefer?
Yes.
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Stiles?
Yes.
Resolution passes 6-0.
That's just a
We need
waiver.
to
That
adopt.
was the waiver.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution 25R17.
Second.
Thank you.
We have a first and a second?
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
Mr. Almond?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Schaefer?
Yes.
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Stiles?
Yes.
Now the resolution passes 6-0. Resolution 25R18.
A resolution extending a moratorium on issuance or granting of applications or permits for public storage, mini storage, or self-storage facilities in the city of New Franklin for a period of 1 year, 365 days, and declaring an emergency.
This was brought before Community Development Committee. I'd like to make a motion to waive the 3.
Second.
We have a first and a second?
Mr. Almond?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Schaefer?
Yes.
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Stiles?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution 25-R-18.
Second.
We have a first and a second?
Mr. Almond?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Schaefer?
Yes.
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Stiles?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
Resolution passes 6-0. Resolution 25R19, Kelly?
A resolution extending the moratorium on the establishment of small box discount stores and the issuance of zoning permits or any other permits for the building, structure, use, or change of use relating to the establishment or expansion of small box discount stores and declaring an emergency.
This resolution was assigned to the Community Development Committee. I make a motion to waive the 3 readings.
Second.
We have a first and a second?
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Schaefer?
Yes.
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Stiles?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
Mr. Almond?
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution 25R19.
Second.
We have a first and a second?
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Schaefer?
Yes.
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Stiles?
Yes.
Mr. Almond?
Yes.
Mr. Wood?
Yes.
Resolution passes 6-0. That finalizes our consent agenda. We move on to our favorite part of the meeting, is our mayor's report.
Aren't you all been waiting for it? All right, let me tick off some things. There's been plenty of press and plenty of discussion, but I'd be remiss if I didn't mention again our officers and the amazing job they did. Police officers Daniel Pulsar and Ethan Tao, first on the scene, and followed quickly by the New Franklin Fire. I believe Brock Kocher was the ship commander, and Austin Wisman, Jordan Height, Adam Gillian. And then some others as time went on. Entering the icy waters, as it says. It's been expressed to me that we all know how threatening and how dangerous that is, and then apparently it was Officer Pulsar was just about out of gas by the time the fire guys got there, from what I understand, and saving this woman's life. So just heroic stuff. When you say it after the fact, you tell people a car went in the ice. It went in the ice. Oh no, they got him out. Oh, they got him out. But boy, to put yourself in that spot, really, even to the point, I think, to be on shore and see him out there, and I guess I'm the one that has to go. And they went, like they always do. So blessings to them, and kudos to the departments, both departments, and the leadership, and the kind of training that they put in to be ready for those moments. It's spectacular. All right, Sisler Park, we mentioned before, we had the nice public meeting. We had input from that meeting. We had survey that was online. In terms of prioritizing, I know from the Parks Commission standpoint, the discussions have often been, really, this whole thing started with a walking trail. And then they said, well, if we're going to do a walking trail, what else do we want to do, and where should we go, and where should everything, where should we locate things? And the trail itself, we spent quite a bit of time talking about where that would be. There were two options, a half-mile loop and a three-quarter-mile loop. The consensus from the input that we received from the public is consistent with the Parks Commission, for that matter, which was a three-quarter-mile loop. I had a conversation with the superintendent this week. They're excited about what's happening in Sisler, and it appears to me that we have support, because a portion of that three-quarters-mile loop would go on the school property. Even the half-mile loop would go behind the tennis courts. So no matter which one we did, there'd have to be some cooperation with the schools. I've talked with we haven't gone in depth, I've talked to our law director and also with the superintendent. Neither feel that there's going to be this is not an unusual thing to have the city work with the school district on a project. And for us, issues of liability and maintenance and so on would have to be worked out. But at a minimum, it would take some school board approval for us to utilize that section that'll go on that'll go behind those the soccer fields once we get south of the tennis courts. There's grant money available for these things. We had a preliminary cost estimate with all the bells and whistles. If the three-quarter-mile track was paved, with benches, stanchions, trees, the works was estimated in the range of $400,000, which would probably be prohibitive. Well, at least it'd be difficult. So what we've asked is, but if we're going to apply for grants, we need those estimates. And so the course we've taken at this point in time is to ask GPD or OHM to put together some estimates for sort of the bare bones, the walking trail itself. And then we could add the amenities, the benches and trees and those kind of things as we go along. We'll see what those costs are, and then we can think about going out for grants. There's some grants that are available. If they close out March 31st, it's not likely that we'll have estimates by then. we may. But we'd also need to have the school board approval. More likely, we'd be going to the ODNR NatureWorks grant cycle, and those have to be in June. So we'd like to be ready for that. We think this is a project that would be attractive to ODNR and for a NatureWorks grant. In the discussions with the school, one of the concerns they've always had, their cross-country teams run around that section. They come from the school and they cross over and they come onto the middle school property and then they circle around the back of where the soccer fields are at the far south end. The coach, we've had a lot of discussions with, Katie Smith has taken the lead on this. They're not crazy about running on pavement. They would run on, they prefer crushed limestone. So we're getting three estimates. One would be if we paved the whole thing. One would be if it was all limestone. And one would be a 50-50, that it would be paved pretty much the half of that 3/4 that is north of the tennis courts. And then when we get south of the tennis courts, it would be limestone, and that would work well for the cross-country people. It would save us some money. We want to have the paved part at that north end to make it available for disabilities, handicap friendly. So that may turn out to be a good option. So we're getting that pricing on that. We'll let you know what that is, and then have a consensus on that, obviously, before we go out and try to get grant money. So that's what's happening with Sicily. All right, we got a notice from NOPEC that, I'm going to put that one out. Yeah, this is, every 2 years, the state of Ohio mandates that gas aggregations conduct a re-enrollment mailing. This always creates a lot of confusion for everybody. Do I have to opt in? Do I have to opt out? But that cycle comes again. NOPEC enrollment letters will start appearing in mailboxes the week of April 16th through April 26th. NOPEC will send us some additional information at the end of March for us to post and to get out to the public. They advise they won't know the new gas prices until around March 22nd. They have scheduled 2 public information meetings regarding re-enrollment. One of them was up in Cotton Falls on April 22nd, but the next day on April 23rd, they'll be up at the Portage Lakes Branch Library from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. So we'll make sure we get plenty of notice out there, plenty of information out there. We'll write about it, we'll put it on our website, we'll try to give people as much information as we can as we go through that. And I will tell you, I did not brush up entirely on it in anticipation of this discussion because we got a little bit of time. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I think this is the deal. If you're in, you stay in unless you opt out. Does that sound right? Okay.
I believe the last time they were only sending letters to people that were not in the program. I believe that's what I remember.
Okay. Well, we'll try to get as much information and we can stay out in front of it and keep people advised of what's going on with that. The Rollins water line is happening. The work has begun over there. We sent letters out, and we try to get as much information out there as we can, but again, probably the most important thing is there's no assessments and there's no mandatory tie-ins for anybody along that line. The good news for us is that it's happening, and timeline-wise, it looks good. You don't count the chickens, obviously, till they're hatched, but we want to make sure we get it over there consistent with the timeline that ODNR wanted so they can get their water and do their pre-testing and everything at the visitor center, because we want to see that visitor center up as soon as it can go up. We've submitted, that's a deep breath, the process to try to finally secure that $970,000, and I've kind of made you guys, the folks, aware of what that process is. And you get the money and then you have to file the application and kind of get it a second time. You have to have the environmental study. We got the categorical exclusion. That moved it along. The work plan, which is a very extensive document, was submitted, and we're told that perhaps by the end of March we'll have the final yes, yes, yes. And there's no reason. Everyone involved in the process has said this is pretty much a perfunctory process. I was told from the very beginning, you have the money. Okay, it's just a matter. There are things going on that make everybody a little bit nervous about federal money. But to this point, everything looks positive. So I think we're in good shape there. Towpath Connector Trail. This project, we've had discussion on this. We formed a study group. We had grant money for a study. And we put together a group of people that, stakeholders, and Mr. Wolf, you were on that group too. Yeah. And it really, so they came up with a nice plan, a separated path, 10 foot wide, on the north side of Vanderhoof. And so those plans were there. The Ohio and Erie Canalway has offered another grant. We used grant money for that, a portion, and we had city money involved as well. So this grant is about a 35% grant. And it can be for more than $15,000, but I was told you're not going to get more than $15,000. So to match that in, we sort of did it this way. Well, you know, if we had a $50,000, we're at the design and engineering phase of this. If we had a chunk that was about $50,000, that would be a sufficient. That would be $35,000 for the city, $15,000 from the grant, and that would satisfy their proportionate rate. So to do that, we talked with OHM, and probably I'll say probably the most expensive or the trickiest part of it is getting over the Tuscarawas River. And historically, Summit County engineers, they don't want us to disturb their bridges. At some point in time, there's going to be a sewer line that goes across Tuscarawas. And we thought about, gee, could we piggyback these two things, but they're going to be on different sides of the road. And sewer's going to be on the south side of Vanderhoof. And our trail's going to be on the north side. We don't want this cross just for that. And talking with sanitary sewers, they really kind of had a hard time. They don't know what they're going to do. Whether they'll bore under it or whether possibly they'll get the tie onto the bridge. Who knows? So this piece would cover, this part of the design would cover from Grove Road to the trailhead, which is almost a Van Buren. You guys are all familiar with it down there. You folks have seen it. Many of you, I'm sure, have ridden it. And so that's a pretty good chunk of it. And we, in talking with George Eby and Dan Rice at the Ohio and Erie Canal, they knew we weren't going to do all this in chunks. We're going to do this in phases. So if we get the engineering done on that part of it and the design, the next step would be to do the piece from Grove up to Manchester Road. Look for grant money for that as well. This is a several-year project. Once we have all that, then we can chase money for the actual path itself. This would be, this is a significant next step. We're not married to any of it, until we get to that point. And we don't certainly want to be foolish about $35,000. But if the commitment is, and that's the commitment I felt that we had from the study group, that we're going to try to go forward with this, this would be the next step. So I wanted to present that to council, see if there's any strong feelings one way or another. Is this something that we still are interested in, and we should continue to try to go forward with this? I'm going to need to. We essentially have the 15. I haven't done the final. We've been pre-approved. Now I've got the contract from OHM. I have to submit that to them, and we'll get approved. I'll do that by a separate resolution, but I want to get a feel, or at least give council and I some opportunity to think about that and express any thoughts one way or another. Is this something we want to continue to explore and invest some money and some time in?
You want us to reply now?
Yeah, sure.
One of my concerns is with Vanderhoof is, one, the speed of the road, we had a bunch of residents come here a year or so ago that had a lot of concerns about, for them, although it's right away and it's our property, they perceive that as their property, and then depending on where that path's gonna be, that's either gonna be right at the road's edge, or it's gonna be inset on their property. And I sensed a lot of dissatisfaction with the thought of that. That's my thoughts on it.
Mr. Powell, I want to say, because we heard that too. My recollection was like 3 or 4 of the residents that had concerns. At least, not to say more of them don't, but that's, and I went out and talked to a couple of them. But I will also say that there are residents along Vanderhoof that were part of that task force that were just the opposite. They were excited with the idea.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I would be against spending the money at this point in time, with, I think, what we got coming up in the future. This is probably not time to add another walking trail over Franklin. We've got plenty of places for people to ride bikes, walk, with what we're doing right now. So I would be against that.
I'm not interested in spending city money on this project. I'm concerned that it's $35,000 today, $35,000 tomorrow, $100,000 the next day. It's just going to be constant add-in for us. I honestly don't believe that would be used that much. That's a long way to go, a hilly ride for someone to come from the towpath all the way to the state park. So if there's a group that wants to do it and pay for it, great. But I just don't think we're really in a position to start dropping money on this particular project at this time.
Is that coming out of the parks budget?
Well, it could. And that's one of the things we have to talk about. And I understand and respect the opinions on this thing. It's not my baby in that sense. And I know it's just a figure of speech when you say, 35 today and 35 tomorrow. It'd be 35 this year, it'd be 35 next year, it'd be some more. So it'd be spread out over a number of years. There's 2 things that attracted us to it in the first place that seem to make some sense. One is that first of all, it's a fabulous trail. It's a 110-mile trail. And now there's actually branches going into I was there when they opened the trailhead over in East Akron. So now there's trailheads that are taking into different parts of Akron. And I'm sure it's going to continue to grow. The Ohio and Erie Canalway Coalition are always looking for access routes to the trail to get more people to the trail. So, and this is what they do, and they've been doing it for a number of years. And if you know Dan Rice at all, he's extremely knowledgeable and just a real champion of this trail. They seem to think it would make a lot of sense. They seem to think that it would be well traveled. So it wasn't just an idea that we had over here in New Franklin. That's how it really was presented to us. And the last thing I'll say about it is this. As I see things like this, and this is a conversation that is going to have to, it's going to, we're having it, we're going to need to continue to have it. All of it from the foundation of, I think everybody in the room understands that we're going to have commercial and residential development here in New Franklin. Those are the only 2 avenues we have to generate additional revenue. And we're all aware that costs are going up. And if we don't generate that additional revenue, it's going to be very difficult keeping this level of services. And so, and because we don't have a highway, we're getting sewer and we're getting water, but our highway's way out on 21, we're not going to get manufacturing plants. We're not going to get 100 jobs. So what are we going to get? And I end up saying, and I'm not sure I'm wrong about this, that maybe our industry is recreation. We've got a 411-acre state park. We've got 3 trailheads on the Canalway. We see in other parts of Summit County and all over the country, really, that people are attracted to things like that. And so if you're going to attract residential development, these are nice magnets to get a developer to come in and be able to say, yeah, I'm gonna be able to move these homes because people are gonna wanna have access to the park. They're gonna wanna have access to the trail. And so this is the kind of piece that becomes an attractive piece when you're trying to attract that development. And of course, if you get that kind of residential development, then you're gonna get that light commercial to support that residential, all in a very controlled fashion, not helter-skelter and wild and crazy. So that's where I see this, all right? This is one of those pieces. I think, in my mind, if we have that residential development along this corridor out here on 93, that you have a nice multi-purpose path that takes you over to the state park. Well, if you get there, you might want to get on your electric bike and go on and traverse those hills. And so many people are using now. So I think it's a long-term project. If we don't have the interest in it at this point in time, my opinion is we should. This is something that we should take a look at because of, we're fortunate enough, we got the state park and we got the trail. And it just makes sense to combine those two. As you probably know, this whole idea of a trail goes back 20 years, and it's still being discussed to run that trail all the way over to, through the city and over to Minnesota to connect to the trails over there. So, and all of it sounds, trails. Well, the people are using them. And communities are growing behind these types of recreational opportunities. So I just think it's something that everybody should at least keep in keeping your headlights as you go forward. We don't necessarily have to go forward. That grant money will be available on, I expect the next year. This may not be the year to do it. So, I'm based on what I'm hearing from council, I won't present it, but I just wanted to give you as much information on that as I could. And the last thing is once again, the police. We love you, fire, but and you saw the police collaborative.
Well, what about service? Do you love service?
Well, we love
service.
That's what people do. Dale, I mean, he's, really, you guys make a great team. I just think we'll just have you guys come from now on. Brian will need to. Anyway, the recertification that came from the Ohio Collaborative Law Enforcement Agency, and once again, the police department has qualified and received certification in all 4 of the areas that were available to them. Bias-free policing, investigation of employee misconduct, vehicle pursuit, community engagement, body-worn cameras, telecommunicator training, use of force, recruitment and hiring. I think I got them all. Yeah, and we certified all of these. No small deal. It takes a lot of work. And as I indicated, I think in a post that's going up a day or so, this certification is a prerequisite to a whole lot of the grant funding that the police continues to receive. So it's really another feather in the cap of the police department that the department took the initiative and were able to obtain certification in all those areas. So congratulations on that as well. You guys did a great job plowing the roads this year. Thank you, Devin. That's all I got.
Thank you. Finance report, Sue?
I have a few things. It's tax season, so Rita is, your income tax obviously is going to be due. Just kind of a reminder that even if you don't owe tax, you still have to file unless you're in one of the groups that do not, such as someone, for example, that's only on Social Security that they're retired. But if you have any questions, please contact them or contact us. We'll help you out as much as we can. If you get a letter from Rita that says you owe penalty or interest, please don't be worried. Come and see us. Bring us your stuff. We'll help you out. We'll get you. But basically, the idea is to make sure that everybody pays their income tax. We don't make our money off of penalty and interest. We just want people to pay the taxes. So we help them out. I've had a lot of people come in. They get notices every so often. They go out, and they usually walk away very happy. So we're good. We're happy about that as well. We also received a couple grants from NOPEC, our usual $750 NOPEC grant that we use for shredding, for part of the cost of shredding day, which has been scheduled for April 26th of this year. 9 to 12, I believe, the same as it usually is. So that money will go for that. We also got a little over $8,000 for the community one. We've used those funds before, but we have to come up with a project to use those funds if we want to do that. That falls within the confines of their guidelines. Then also, our newest human resource coordinator has been in training with us, and she's actually going to be undergoing some training on our system, VIP, from Software Solutions who make that product. And then we're going to be doing some deep diving training here on how to do payroll. So hopefully one of these days I'll just go back to being the backup instead of the main person doing payroll. But she seems to be coming along, but she seems very bright and seems to be coming along, so we're happy to have her. And that is all I have.
Thank you. Any more business?
I got a couple things. I didn't want to interrupt the mayor when he was giving his report. I'd like to talk a little bit about Cicero Park for just a second. You mentioned you're getting 3 different bids for that 3/4 mile track. I'd like you to be able to get that bid for the half-mile track. For the sole purposes, we had less than 90 people who applied to the survey. I don't think we truly know what the temperature of the public is right now, if it's going to be a half mile or a 3/4 mile. And costs weren't really talked about when that meeting was going on, what these things are going to cost. So I don't think it'd be hard just to get that extra bid. I would appreciate that. And then, because Judy's not here tonight, farmer's market's coming out. Just want to plug that for Judy, and she'll talk about it more at the next one.
Thank you, Mr. Schiller. Anybody else with old business?
Yes, staying with parks. Anything going on with Grill Park this year?
No, I don't think so. I think the pavilion's there, we have the playground equipment, the ball fields have been spruced up, we added fences in front of the ball fields. Yeah, well, that, we'll have to talk, that's on deck, we'll have to talk to the parks again as to whether or not we're going to put, is there a consensus to do a naming on that? So I don't know if you reference to that or
No, I had no
so that still remains to be seen. But right now, and again, we'll hear what parks have to say when we gather them back again together. But that's I think we're sort of stable over there for right now.
Super.
Anybody else? Staying with the parks theme. I know we talked about benches and stuff around the walking trail, and I know some other parks could use some benches. But we thought about creating a memorial bench program. And that would be something that somebody who lives in the community, they could actually buy a bench, put a placard on it, naming it, dedicate it to somebody. And you go with a nice, I'll call it a wrought iron end bench with composite slats in it. I mean, we can populate our parks by, it's actually doing 2 different things. One, it's giving us a bench to use, and for the community. But it also puts that memorial out there for somebody who may want to have somebody remember.
No, that actually came up in our discussion, I guess 2 days ago with the superintendent. Yeah. And it was Katie Smith who mentioned that thought. And I think it's a great idea. I can tell you that, somewhat similar, there were discussions about possibly some postings around whether it's a half mile, 3/4 track, with some memorials, but it could be benches, with some about folks from the community who are esteemed in one way or another. I don't know, former, for one. So, yeah, I think that's a great idea. I think when we get to that stage, I think we should strongly consider that.
Right, that's something we don't need to wait on the walking trail or anything like this. So we could do that at Grill Park or Bowles Park or any of the other parks. I mean, there's places that could really use those amenities, and then we could get that started now and start building that program.
I'll present that to parks. I think my first thought would be it's a good idea, and then I think we're probably going to want to prioritize where we want these benches and who's going to use them. and then make that decision, and then say, okay, who might be willing to sponsor these? And again, it may be different for each park. Maybe we'll have some West Side people probably that may be interested in doing that kind of thing for the West Side, but wouldn't have the same interest in putting something at Bolus or over here at Cicero. So it's a good idea. We'll talk to Parks about it.
Anybody with any other old business? Any new business? No new business? Any public comments on anything you guys heard at tonight's meeting or anything like that?
Sharon Goodwin, 6789 Hampshire Road. I wanted to touch on the bike trail that you're talking about on Randolph Road. I appreciate all of the council's thoughts and comments on that with regards to expense. I lived on that road a number of years as a bad road for a bike trail. That's my comment. Thank you.
Any other?
I do want to say, and I'm not going to champion it, but I want to be clear if there's any confusion. What was envisioned, what was presented there was a separated path off the road. And it'd be separate, there'd be guardrail or whatever. So, because absolutely no question that's a potentially dangerous road, which is why one of the options that they presented was a trail along the roadway, and we said, well, that's not going to work. So this is a 10-foot wide separated path that's buffered. So to give you as much protection as you could get at least.
But there's a lot of factors there. There's hills, there's deep ditches, there's small front yards that would impact those people that are living there. Maybe everybody didn't speak that lives on that road, but if I still lived on that road, I would definitely be speaking.
Any other public comment? Seeing none? Do you have
I had a question.
Yes.
I'm a landowner but not a resident. Can I still ask it?
Absolutely.
I still need your name and address, please.
4345 Point Comfort, Sean Welsh.
Thank you.
I recently read online the findings or declarations about 619, and I don't know much about it. I was pretty curious if there's a committee assigned to that or what that corridor has going.
I think he's talking about the future design.
Yeah, there's no decisions where, none whatsoever. We're really just in the exploratory stages and the discussion stage of what the community might want to see there, what the city might want to see there, by way of improvements to that corridor. Whether it's anticipated and desirable, in my view, that we get sewer and water through that stretch of 619. Primarily because we've got basically two corridors here if we're going to have any development. Those are the ones that's going to happen. But also maybe a separated trail, maybe some sidewalks, maybe some street lights, those types of things. So we put together, we obtained a planning grant for that, and we put together a steering committee of residents and stakeholders, but there will be a public meeting, which you're more than invited to attend. I'm going to write about this next week, and post it anyway, as soon as I can find it. It is March. I don't think it's 11th. I'll have to find it. If you leave your information, I'll get the date for it.
Sure thing.
Thank you.
I'll email you tomorrow. I have it on my calendar.
Yeah, me too. I can't pull it up for some reason.
Part of that committee.
Thank you.
Any other public comment? Seeing none? Do we have a need for executive session?
No.
Do we have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
First,
Second?
second. Kelly?
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Schaefer?
Yes.
Mr. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. Stiles?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
Mr. Almond?
Yes.
Thank you. Our next meeting is March 19th.
I can check it in. I can check it back here. I got